Grizzlies fans know it's the team that gives you the edge. Big River Steel does too. And much like the Grizzlies have recruited legendary talent, we want you to be part of our team. Are you ready to be part of something legendary? Then visit www.bigriversteel.com. That's www.bigriversteel.com.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard. Bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
I think we have the college basketball title futures. UConn's #1.
I really like Houston. I'd have them winning it all, but you can't be giving Drake jerseys. What is wrong with you?
Maybe the Drake curse is stronger in college basketball.
How long has he been riding with Kentucky?
He wore an Alabama jersey and Saban retired.
The Odds Couple with Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker, John Roser, and CJ Hurt live Thursdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
All right, I'm here. My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio, FedEx Forum, downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle is producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you're ready for Game 1 of the 2024 NBA Finals, because that's on tap tonight. Also, big Woj bomb this morning, 5:50 a.m. Central. To hell with J.J. Redick. The Lakers reportedly want UConn's Dan Hurley to be the next coach of what is, I think, widely regarded as the biggest franchise in the association. We'll get into it all momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. 10:20, about 20 minutes from now, Chris Mannix is going to join me from Sports Illustrated. Game 1 of the NBA Finals tonight. I'll talk all things NBA with him. Celtics, Mavericks, plus Dan Hurley and the Lakers. Chris Mannix is going to be here in the next segment. When I finish that, I'll take a break, come back, do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we're going to discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, the Athletics. Sam Vecini has posted a new mock draft. I'll tell you who he has the Grizzlies selecting with the 9th pick. We'll do that in about 40 minutes. UConn's Geno Auriemma, the GOAT of women's basketball coaching, was asked about Caitlin Clark. He said he feels like she's being targeted by other players in the WNBA in a way that he never remembers happening to anybody else before. Question for you, Bennett. Is Geno Auriemma a good enough source on women's basketball for the weirdos who can't seem to acknowledge what most of us are seeing clear as day? Like, if you won't take my word for it that Caitlin Clark is being targeted, will you take Geno's? I hope so. I'll give you his full quote. We'll do that in just a bit. Kendrick Lamar has announced a concert on Juneteenth in Los Angeles. It'll presumably be his first public appearance since he murdered that colonizer Drake.
Oh, no.
I'll give you the details on that one in the next 2 segments from now. Pirates rookie Paul Skenes and Dodger star Shohei Ohtani, they met for the first time yesterday. It was electric. I'll show you what happened a little later on in the show. And a woman in Mexico tried to take a selfie in front of a moving train. It didn't go well. She's dead now.
Oh, boy.
She's dead now. I'll show you the video.
No, you won't. No, you will not.
I'm not going to show you the video, but I did watch the video. Oh, man.
I'll watch it before we talk about it. I haven't seen it.
Man.
I won't watch it on the Grizzlies server, though.
I watched it. I tell you, buddy. The human body ain't built to take a hit from a train.
No, it's not.
I'll tell you that. I'll remind you just how dangerous selfies can be. We'll do that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll do GP's Carryout, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We've got a lot to get to. But I did want to start with the 2024 NBA playoffs because, believe it or not,
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, we haven't done this in a minute.
we have reached day 48.
Yep.
It's day 48. This is day 48 of the 2024 NBA playoffs.
Feels like they just started yesterday.
I know, but it did like 48 days ago.
That's wild.
And on day 48, we got a real treat in store tonight.
What's going
Bennett.
on?
On day 48, you know what we get? Game 1 of the 2024 NBA Finals. The Mavericks from Dallas will be battling the Celtics from Boston.
Nice.
Tip is scheduled for a little after 7:30 Central. You can watch it on ABC. It's a nice network. It's not America's most watched network. It's not the network star. It's a nice network.
Solid network. Yeah.
Solid network. Boston 6.5-point favorite tonight. Total is 214.5. Big Bet Bennett, are you ready for some basketball? A Thursday night party.
I am ready. I'm very excited. I don't really, I when you asked me like earlier in the week, I said I thought maybe I'd go Mavericks in 7, but I really have no idea. Like I'm excited about this series because I really don't have a conviction about which of these teams is going to come out on top.
I think Boston is a favorite for a reason. It would be silly for any of us to act surprised if the Celtics go ahead and close this thing out. They had the best record in the regular season. They've had the best record in the postseason. They're getting Kristaps Porzingis back, but they looked good without him. And Luka Doncic is still banged up, although it didn't seem to slow him down too much in the Western Conference Finals. There's still always the chance he could re-aggravate or re-injure something, and that could obviously shift the series in a dramatic way. So I guess, if you told me I had to put my mortgage on it, I'd probably take the Celtics in 6 or 7, but I don't feel strongly about it either.
And we know Boston's going to give them one.
Well,
Boston's going to give them a game. They have every game every series so far.
They try to give you one every series. I will say Boston's the better team. Nobody really tries to argue otherwise. But the history of the NBA Finals tells us that all-time great players / MVP candidates are typically the people who win championships. And that it's very hard, or at least unusual, for a team to do it without somebody who falls under that umbrella. The truth is the Mavericks have a MVP candidate / guy who's in the conversation to be the greatest player in the world. That's Luka Doncic. You've been called him, to your credit, the best player in the world for a while now. Most people go with Nikola Jokic. Others might say Joel Embiid, or Giannis Antetokounmpo. But Luka is at least in that conversation. Jason Tatum is not. He's just not.
No, he's not.
He's in the next group of, man, he's really good, all NBA good, but is he really the best player in the world? I don't think anybody has ever called or suggested that Jason Tatum might be the best player in the world, or that he might even be on his way to becoming the best player in the world.
Right.
But people have said that about Nikola Jokic, about Giannis Antetokounmpo, about Luka Doncic, about Joel Embiid. Simply put, the Mavericks have one of those guys in this series. The Celtics do not. And the past 6 years, the best team has not always won the title. But you know what the championship team has always had in these previous 6 years?
The best player.
They've always had a guy who could reasonably be called the best player in the world right now in this moment. The past 6 champions have always had that. The Mavericks have that right now. The Celtics do not. So that's the only thing that makes me, or at least it's on the list of things that makes me not feel real strong that the Celtics are going to win this. It is teams like the Mavericks who usually get this done. Teams with a player like Luka Doncic, not teams with players like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis. So as always, we'll see. But I just hope we get a compelling and an interesting series. I suspect that we will. So game 1, NBA Finals, that's tonight. Supposed to be. I tell you, when I went to bed last night, I figured it'd be the big basketball story of the day and what we would spend the entire opening segment on. And then I woke up this morning and I realized that
I bet you've had a nice morning.
at 5:50, I got up right at 6.
Yeah.
So I saw it just like right after I woke up. I woke up around 6. At 5:50 Central this morning, our pal Adrian Wojnarowski tweeted that the Los Angeles Lakers are targeting UConn coach Dan Hurley to become the franchise's next head coach and are preparing a massive long-term contract offer to bring the back-to-back national champion to the NBA. Bennett, are we about to lose Dan Hurley to the NBA after just losing Jim Harbaugh to the NFL? Because if that happens, the reigning championship coach of Michigan Wolverines and the reigning championship coach of the UConn Huskies, the national champions in football and men's basketball, they will have both left college athletics.
It is interesting because, like, on one side you say, well, why would he leave? He's in such a great situation. He's got a chance to three-peat. He's got a chance to be the greatest college basketball coach of all time. Why would he want to leave that situation? I mean, UConn's operating at such a high level, and why would you want to leave that and go to a Lakers team that, yes, has championship aspirations, but I don't think anyone thinks they're going to win a championship in the near future. I think that a lot of people, feel like that the LeBron AD era is past that point of being able to win a championship together. And so why would you want to go to that and maybe be in a situation where you're starting over in 2 years? But, dude, I don't think that a coach it's operating at such a high level like Dan Hurley is would think like that. I think he would think like it's the freaking LA Lakers, right?
I don't know.
And when am I going to have this opportunity? I got a chance to be the coach of the Lakers. It's one of the best jobs in basketball. Why wouldn't I do that?
I don't know what Dan's going to do.
Yeah. And it could just be like leverage, right?
Could
get
be
a
that.
massive payday. Yeah.
Sure. Like there is some thought. I mean, Woj and Dan have known each other for a long time. Woj wrote a book on St. Anthony's, which is the Hurley family.
Yeah, okay.
Like my introduction to Dan Hurley came through Woj.
Gotcha.
Like the first person who ever introduced me to Dan Hurley was Adrian Wojnarowski. So it's not hard for me to understand why he would be intrigued by this. I mean, literally anybody would be intrigued by this. It is, let's just take the reporting at its word, a long-term, massive contract to coach the NBA's all-time scoring leader. And with respect to the Celtics, I still think the biggest franchise, the most glamorous franchise in the history of the NBA.
Yes.
Live in Southern California, be filthy rich. And if it works out, you're an NBA coach. More specifically, the coach of the Lakers, more specifically LeBron's coach, and it's going well, and you're making $1 bazillion living in Southern California. Not dealing with the transfer portal anymore.
Right.
Not dealing with NIL anymore. Like, it's easy to understand why he would be intrigued by it. And then if it doesn't go well, you know what he does? Takes all that guaranteed money. Let's say it's really $100 million, which it might be more than that. You know, if they fire you after 7 games, that's all of the money yours.
Yeah.
So best case scenario, you spend the next 20 years coaching the Lakers and you're Pat Riley. Worst case scenario, you get fired like most NBA coaches do. You take all the money, which would really probably be in excess of $100 million or something like that. And you know what you do? Come back to college and say, who wants me?
Yeah.
And you get the best job available, just like Rick Pitino once came back and took Louisville, just like John Calipari once came back and took Memphis. If Billy Donovan ever wanted to come back, he could take, Kentucky if it was open or whatever, best job available. So failing in the NBA does not hurt a college coach. Failing in college hurts a college coach. What history tells us is that if you kill it in college so much so that you get to the NBA, what happens in the NBA has no impact on what people in college think about you. You can bomb in the NBA like Rick Pitino, bomb in the NBA like John Calipari. You announce that you're coming back to college or you have an interest in doing it. Whatever job you want that's available is yours. And some school might even fire their coach they otherwise wouldn't fire just to hire you. So life is good no matter what. Although you would be walking away from a legacy thing at UConn, and that really might be tough to do. I understand why he's intrigued.
Yeah.
I understand why I'd be interested in it. I think if I were him, I think I might do it, but I'm not him. And that's the most important thing to remember always with this stuff. I'm not Dan Hurley. Neither are you. He's not me. People make decisions for different reasons. People are motivated by different things. Mm-hmm. And people keep asking me and other people questions like, what do you think Dan Hurley is going to do? Well, I don't think it's entirely up to Dan Hurley. Dan Hurley has a family. His wife, Andrea, is a big voice in that family. And there is just no scenario where Andrea would say, I don't want to move to Southern California, and Dan Hurley would say, well, we have to do it anyway. He would turn down this job if his wife told him, I'm not comfortable with it, even if he wanted it, as he should, or at least as he should consider. Again, I don't want to get involved in making other people's family decisions any more than I want people getting involved in me making my family decisions. But I will tell you, long before I was at CBS Sports, and I've told this story before, I was at the commercial appeal. I got offered a big job that I would not have turned down and did not want to turn down. I wanted to take the job. I was ready to take the job. I was ready to leave home, really, for the first time ever. And I turned it down simply because my wife was pregnant. With our first son. That's the only reason I turned it down. I did not think it was a good time to move. I felt like I would regret it for the rest of my life. Other people would have taken the job. I turned it down. But that's why I turned it down, because I simply didn't think the timing was right, and I didn't think it was the right thing to do for my family, growing family, in that moment. So I am an example of somebody who made a decision not based on what's the best job or even what do I want to do, but based on what do I think is best for me and everybody involved under my roof right now. And college coaches have to make that type of decision all the time. I should be clear, it's not like I had an offer for $100 million from the Lakers. I probably would have not turned that down. Okay, mm-hmm. That's not what I was dealing with. But it is a job that I would have taken if it was left up to me, but I didn't feel like it was only up to me, or I didn't feel like I was the only one that mattered. I didn't feel like my life would be the only one that was impacted by my career choice, so I made a career choice that involved other people. And people do that every day, college basketball coaches including. So as always, we'll see. But that's the big story this morning. The Lakers want Dan Hurley, and if he's going to stay at UConn, it's pretty crystal clear at this point he's going to have to turn down an incredible opportunity and a whole bunch of money to do it. It's wild. I imagine on some level you always dream of these opportunities. You can either come back for more money than you've ever made and be the coach at UConn where you've just won back-to-back national championships, amazing, or you can go coach the Lakers for more money than you ever dreamed of having. On some level, that's like a dream come true. Man, look at this position I'm in. Amazing. On another level, you know what it is? I bet agonizing. Because no matter what decision you make, you know what I bet? You wonder if you made the right one. No matter what it is, and no matter how it goes, you will always wonder if you made the right decision. Because no matter what happens here, one way or another, he is either dramatically changing his life and walking away from something great, or he's passing up on something that could be potentially great and something that other people in his position wouldn't even hesitate to accept. It's a tough spot to be in. A great spot, but a tough one. Chris Mannix is up next.
Mike did his favorite black films of all time. Mike, where we at?
If there's one movie I know every single line to, it is Coming to America.
There we go.
It is Coming to America. It can come on any time of any day, and I'm going to stop and watch at least 20 minutes of it.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
Heart Royal Flush Tour 2024. November 14th, FedEx Forum. A journey through the hits and timeless classics. The iconic band returns with special guests. Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Tickets on sale now at heart-music.com. Heart with Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening. Produced by AEG Presents.
Now for a limited time, the new $1.99 crispy tender wraps are here at Sonic. Who could deny a crispy chicken tender with bold flavors like hickory barbecue and cheesy Baja? And we can't forget the crisp lettuce and melty cheese to make the perfect bite. Wrap yourself up with some TLC, tender, love, and chicken for only $1.99. Sonic $1.99 crispy tender wraps. Tax not included, limited time only at participating Sonic drive-ins.
36 and a half vertical?
Watch your
Yeah,
head.
you said it was 44.
You sure I said it?
36 and a half.
36 and a half is big.
36 and a half. I've got bench press here.
18 times.
17.
Okay.
You always have to put a little barbecue
It's
sauce.
all barbecue sauce. Barbecue sauce on the wings.
The Chris Vernon Show, presented by Caesars Sportsbook, live weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. We have another edition. This will be the third edition of the Debate Club. You guys are going to sell a shoe to Mr. Bennett Doyle, our producer over here.
Oh, yeah.
I saw these.
I've seen these.
I saw these on social media too.
It's
Good
the
luck.
perfect house shoe.
I know, right?
Like, yeah, it's not even a house shoe. I bet you they're really comfortable. You know, you heard of unisex. This is unifoot. Oh my God.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Welcome back to the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough studio, and I'm joined now by a senior writer, Sports Illustrated. It's my buddy Chris Mannix, SI.com. He's on Twitter, X at SI. Chris Mannix, I know it's a busy day for you. I appreciate you being here. It's good to see you, man. How you been?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Everything's all right in my world. I woke up to some big news. 5:50 Central this morning, our pal Adrian Wojnarowski reported that the Lakers have prioritized and are preparing a massive offer for UConn coach Dan Hurley. Obviously, and this is sort of where I ended the last segment, must be an amazing situation to be in. Like, either you're going to try to win a third straight national championship at UConn for more money than you've ever made in your life, or you can go coach the Lakers for more money than you ever thought you'd make in your life. On the other hand, I bet it's agonizing. This is not an easy thing to try to navigate, is it?
Yeah, I don't pretend to know what Dan Hurley thinks about his situation at UConn. I do think this is going to be a really hard offer to ultimately turn down because, look, to extract Dan Hurley from UConn, you are most likely discussing a deal that is well in excess of $10 million per year that is guaranteed over 4 or 5 years. I mean, Dan Hurley holds all the cards here. Like, the Lakers want him. He can press for whatever kind of deal that he ultimately is looking for. And look, I know he's had tremendous success at UConn, and he seems to really enjoy living in the Northeast. But, you know, the college game, as you well know, Gary, has changed so much over the last 4 or 5 years. You're basically coaching pros right now because of NIL. Why not take an opportunity to go to LA, make a pile of money, coach the Lakers, coach LeBron James, coach Anthony Davis, and the very worst case scenario is it doesn't work out over the next 5 years, and the college opportunity will always be there for him. So while it certainly was shocking to read the report this morning, I'd be even more shocked at this point if he turned it down.
When I talk to guys who have gone from college to the NBA, the biggest thing that they enjoy about professional basketball as opposed to college is the quality of life. It's like, you know, I talked to Brad Stevens not long after he, you know, left Butler for Boston. And he said in that first year, he came here through Memphis and we spent some time. And he said, I hate the losing, driving me crazy. But, man, all I do is watch film and coach my team. It's incredible. Like, the game's over, I meet with the media, and I go home. I don't have to call recruits on the way. I don't have to meet with somebody in my office. Can you speak to the difference between what a college basketball coach's offseason looks like and what an NBA coach's offseason looks like?
I mean, I don't think there is an offseason for a college coach.
Right.
I think you're on the clock, you know, every day of the calendar year, whether it's coaching or recruiting or preparing, you know, some kind of schedule for next year. In the NBA, your job is simply to coach. And you mentioned Brad Stevens. I mean, you know, I used to have to knock down all these rumors about Brad, you know, going back to college. First, it was Indiana, which there was no chance he was doing that. Then it was Duke to replace Mike Krzyzewski. No chance he was doing that. You know, the reality is, Gary, I don't think you can find, and I can't think of one off the top of my head, one coach in the pros that went back to college voluntarily. Now, some coaches go back, but that's because their time in the NBA has kind of run out. But no coaches go back of their own volition. That's why, like, the same thing with Billy Donovan. Like all the Billy Donovan rumors this offseason. Like Billy Donovan was not leaving the Chicago Bulls or leaving the NBA unless he was forced to. It's as simple as that because the money is good, the lifestyle is good. I remember talking about this and hearing about this from like PJ Carlissimo in years past. And PJ has been doing TV and radio for a long time, but I'm sure he's had opportunities to coach in the college game since his pro coaching time came to an end. But you just don't want to do it. You get used to and accustomed to a certain lifestyle in the NBA that is very different in the college game and is exponentially worse now because of all the NIL stuff you have to deal with.
Like, I don't know what Taylor Jenkins has been doing for the past month, but if he were like just vacationing in Brazil, I don't think it would matter that much. And that's the point. If you, I talked to a Division I head coach at some point in recent years, and he was like, it had always been my dream to own a condo, on the coast in Florida. And he finally bought one because, he's a Division I high major coach. And he said at the time he had owned it for like a year and he'd been there once. You can't even break away ever as a college coach. Whereas with an NBA coach, I don't want to say you can disappear for weeks at a time, but you kind of can.
You can disappear
Yes.
for weeks at a time. Now, there are some coaches that wield a bigger bat in their organization than others. Like Eric Spoelstra can't really disappear for weeks at a time because there's like 3 guys in the Miami organization that make decisions, and he's one of them. But the vast majority of NBA head coaches, once those exit interviews are over, yeah, they go through draft workouts, and they're certainly part of that process. But you get into July, you get into August, and they are gone fishing. Like they are enjoying themselves in the off season. And I just don't, that's clearly not the case when it comes to college athletics. And look, college athletics, again, has become so much more complicated in recent years. It's gone beyond just traditional recruiting to now having to effectively build a salary cap within your program. So if you have a chance to bring it full circle back to Dan Hurley, like if you have a chance to take over arguably the marquee franchise in the NBA, to coach one of the great players in this league, and to be given a runway here. Like, it's very clear from the reporting that this Lakers team is no longer thinking short term. Like, they're not just thinking about maximizing the next 2 years of LeBron James. They're thinking about the next 4 years of Anthony Davis and then what comes after that. They clearly want to build something with Dan Hurley at the helm. And if you have that kind of opportunity, I guess anything's possible, but very rarely do you see guys turn stuff like that down.
Talking to Chris Mannix from Sports Illustrated, I want to turn our attention to Game 1 of the NBA Finals. A lot of attention this week has been given to Luka Doncic, Kristaps Porzingis, the way it didn't work in Dallas, but now here they find themselves in the NBA Finals. Some have suggested they didn't get along. They've pushed back on that a little bit. You're obviously close to the situation. What's fact? What's fiction?
Yeah, I don't think it has much, if anything, to do with a personality clash. I think they were fine as teammates down there. It didn't work on the floor. And sometimes it plays out that way. I think Porzingis was initially very resistant to the role that Rick Carlisle wanted to put him in, which is basically be a spot-up three-point shooter. You play off of Luka, and you do what, like, P.J. Washington is doing now, or Derrick Jones Jr. is doing now. You hang out in the corner, and you collect passes and take open threes. Porzingis, if you remember, was coming off an all-star season in New York. Like, he was on a trajectory where a lot of people thought he was going to be a superstar in this league. Kevin Durant calls him the unicorn. All the positives that were around Porzingis. He was just not in the right place to accept a lesser role at that stage of his career. On top of that, the 1 year he played with Jason Kidd, he couldn't shoot a three if his life depended on it. He made like 28% of his threes during that final year in Dallas. That's just unacceptable on a team that operates behind Luka Doncic. So I don't think there are any personal issues with Luka and KP, and no one really is down there has told me about it. It just was simply kind of an oil and water mix that just didn't work out.
What's in store for Kyrie Irving tonight?
It's going to be great. It's just going to be like not for Kyrie, but it's going to be one of those environments that you just love to be in, right? Like we all want to see fans keep things in bounds, but we also, love a charged environment. We love a little hostility in the environment. And there is still a lot of pent-up anger from Celtics fans that they are preparing over probably 37 beers tonight to unleash on Kyrie Irving. Look, it's in a way it's kind of incredible because the Celtics have the best team in the NBA. They are young, they are deep, they are under contract for a couple more years for at least the most part of that team. They have the ability to, build out a sustainable winner. But these fans cannot forget what happened in the 2018-19 season. And all of them blame Kyrie Irving for it. Now, he deserves a pretty decent share of the blame for that failed season. But at the same time, this team's in the finals for 2 of the last 3 years. They're a great team. I just think it's kind of funny that these fans are so focused and still so angry at Kyrie Irving. I'll give you an example. Like I was at game 2 of the Celtics series against Indiana, where the Celtics won that game kind of going away. And only one game at that point had been played in the Western Conference Finals. Yet as I'm on the concourse, going up to do some TV stuff, all I hear echoing throughout the concourse is we want Kyrie. Like they still want a piece of this guy. So I do hope, like everybody else, that you can kind of keep it clean or cleanish, with Kyrie there. But I am very much looking forward to seeing this kind of environment and seeing how Kyrie responds to it. Because I think Luka is built to respond to that kind of hate. Luka just kind of takes it in and then channels it back out. Kyrie's coach, Jason Kidd, no one knows what it's like to be hated in Boston as much as Jason Kidd does, given all his years with the Nets earlier in his career. Is Kyrie built like that? Can he take on that kind of hostility and use it as fuel, or does he get rattled by it and it becomes a problem?
Just a couple more things for you. And I don't know Kyrie Irving. I watch his interviews. I follow his social media. I've met him. I've been around him. I don't know him. You've been around him a lot. There's a narrative that has happened in recent weeks where it's Kyrie has changed, Kyrie has grown up, Kyrie has matured. Do you buy it? Or is this just some version of him that he's showing us, but he'll be back to where he was at some point?
No, I absolutely buy it.
Okay.
I do think he is a changed guy. Still the same great player, but personality-wise, he has changed. Now, some of that is by necessity. I mean, he got a reality check last summer. I mean, he went into free agency at, 31 years old, in the prime of his career, an all NBA level talent. And there was one team out there willing to make $100 million+ investment in him, and that was the Dallas Mavericks. So I think that was kind of a metaphorical slap in the face to Kyrie Irving, that he does have to get his act together. And he has done it this year. Like, he has proven to be the perfect wingman to Luka Doncic. He has made it work, and that's a credit to him. He has been a leader in that locker room to some of the young guys. In Boston, his leadership style, it was bad. It was very, very bad. He was not a good leader within that Celtics locker room because he used his status as an NBA champion kind of as a cudgel, towards these younger guys. Like, he would beat them over the head with a 2x4 with the fact that he was an NBA champion and they weren't. At the same time, you had a bunch of young guys who had just gone to Game 7 of the conference finals against LeBron without him. So they thought they were pretty good. And Kyrie was, sort of telling them, no, you're not. Do it my way or it's the highway. He is a very different guy during this time with the Dallas Mavericks. I give Jason Kidd a lot of credit for that because Kyrie and Kidd, he has someone there that is kind of a kindred spirit. Kyrie grew up in Jersey when Jason was playing his formative years with the Nets. He watched Jason Kidd play. He loved how he played. And I think having him there as a peer has really had a positive impact on Kyrie Irving. So I do think that this evolution of his is not lip service. It's not fake. He really is a different guy in Dallas.
Last thing before I let you go, wrapping up here with Chris Mannix. On one hand, the Celtics are the obvious favorite. They have home court advantage. They were the best team in the regular season. They've arguably been the best team, at least from a win-loss record. They have been this postseason. On the other hand, the NBA champion is typically a team that is led by somebody who is reasonably and regularly called maybe the best player in the world. The Mavericks have one of those guys. Jason Tatum isn't quite in that conversation. How do you balance those two things out?
Yeah, well, for starters, I would say I think Tatum can get in that conversation. Okay. I think he has the skill set to show in this series that he can be a closer. I think part of the critique and the scrutiny of Jason Tatum is the fact the Celtics, they haven't played a lot of close games this year. I mean, they had one of the best point differentials in NBA history. They were 12-2 in the playoffs. But we have seen Jason Tatum in the past step up in big moments. You go back to the conference semifinals of last year where or 2 years ago, I should say, when Jason Tatum had 46 points in Game 6 of that series against Milwaukee to lead the Celtics into a Game 7. Last year, you had Tatum having a great fourth quarter against Philadelphia in the conference semis and then having a huge Game 7, a 50-point Game 7 to lead the Celtics to a win. So he has had these moments when he's needed it. I do think, though, this is going to be the biggest test of Tatum's career because they do have at least one guy, probably two, in that Dallas locker room that can take over a game down the stretch. And these are, Gary, going to be some close games. They're going to be some competitive games in the fourth quarter. Luka and Kyrie, I think, are going to get it done. It's going to come down to Jason Tatum being able to get it done. That's how the Celtics, I think, are going to win at least one or two of these games in this series.
That is Chris Mannix from Sports Illustrated. You can follow him on X at SI Chris Mannix. You can read him, of course, at SI.com. Again, I know you're busy. I appreciate you being here. I owe you, buddy. Thanks for your time.
You got it. Anytime.
All right. That's Chris Mannix from Sports Illustrated. I'm just talking with Chris about this, I get more fired up about it. I love the storylines that go along with this. If the Mavericks win this, it'll be Luka Doncic is arguably the greatest player in the world, and how many championships can he win? We'll be doing that on Get Up the morning after the series clincher.
Oh, God.
All right?
Yep.
Also, you know what people will start to say about Jason Tatum? You can't do it. You ain't that guy.
Oh, yeah, because this is the year. I mean, you really
it's opened
have
up
to
for
get
you.
it done this year.
Like Jason Tatum, one of two things is probably
You'll
about to happen.
You'll never have this easy of a path ever again.
I think that's probably true.
Yep.
Like you coasted into the NBA Finals, taking advantage of one banged-up team after another. I mean, teams just lost their best players. And it wasn't even the teams you played.
Right.
It was the teams you played, they eliminated. Those teams were hurt too.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis, Embiid, Brunson, Halliburton. They all got hurt along the way. All right? So you were gifted. It was like a free ticket to the NBA Finals.
Mm-hmm.
And then this gets lost in this because Luke is amazing and Kyrie is – you're playing a fifth seed.
That's right.
In the NBA Finals.
Yep.
You walked into this thing and you're playing a fifth seed. If you can't get this done now, oh, boy, it's going to get ugly for him.
Yeah, it is.
So one of two things is going to –
especially in that market.
I don't want to say one of two things is going to happen because a lot of things could happen. He could get hurt in game one, and then none of this is really a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, poor Jason Tatum, how unfortunate. But let's just say he's healthy the entire way, and the two most likely outcomes are this. He's healthy the whole way. He is the Celtics' best player, and they win this, and he's an NBA Finals MVP and a champion. And people will start to go, does Jason Tatum belong in the conversation with Giannis and Jokic and, all of the people that we put in the GOAT conversation, or at least the greatest in the world conversation right now, Luka, of course, as well. If he doesn't win it and he's not good in this series, or even if he is good and they still don't win it, then the narrative switches to he can't do it. It'll be that dramatic. Maybe he's one of the best players in the world and deserves this type of attention and label, or he's good enough to get you there, but we've been doing this for a long time now, and he can't get you over the hump. He had a 5 seed as an opponent in the finals, still couldn't get it done. There's probably more at stake in this finals for Jason Tatum than there is anybody else. Anybody else. Even Joe Mazzulla, even Luka.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too.
A month ago, nobody was saying the Mavericks need to win a title, or
no, they weren't.
But they have been saying that about Celtics,
mm-hmm.
and especially now. One last thing on Dan Hurley, because it's something that I should point out that I didn't in the opening segment, and that's the role that NIL plays in all of this, and the conference with which UConn is affiliated, because that's a factor too. Think about this for a second. What just happened in recent weeks with this settlement in the NCAA? It frees up SEC schools, Big Ten schools, ACC schools, and Big 12 schools to pay up to $20 million straight from their athletic department budgets to student athletes. All right? The rich got richer the second that became a thing. So think about what UConn is dealing with right now as the Lakers are pursuing Dan Hurley. Mannix put the number at $10 million. I think it could be more. I think it will be more. If he's the Lakers coach, I think he'll be making more than $10 million a year. All right? But let's just put it to $10 million. If you're UConn, just to match salaries, you got to get to $10 million for your basketball coach.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
Also, I heard Seth Greenberg talking this morning.
And what's the typical for super high level college basketball at this point?
So I had an SEC coach.
Like, what's Cal making at Arkansas?
About 8 in that range. But, like, you can get to 10. 10's not like 10 is crazy. 10 is high, but, like, people do get there.
Yeah, gotcha.
Krzyzewski was around that. Cal was around that. Bill Self is around that right now. But for UConn, here's the issue with UConn. It's not just about what does Dan Hurley want to do. It's like if the Lakers are really putting $10 million a year on the table, you got to get close to that at least. All right? And probably got to get there. Beyond that, it was just announced to the world, the Alabamas and the UCLAs and the Indianas and the Kentuckys and the Arkansas, they all got this $20 million coming straight. But you're in the Big East. You don't have big-time football.
Right.
You don't have that television contract. Where is all this money coming from? Like, the world has changed. And just because UConn could compete at the tip top of the sport in the Big East in recent years under Dan Hurley, or for decades under Jim Calhoun and even briefly under Kevin Ollie, where do they get this money from now?
Yeah.
Where does this money come from? How can you reasonably afford to pay a basketball coach at UConn $10 million and then give him the resources to compete with the Kentuckys and the Louisvilles of the world? That's a lot of money. Where does it come from? You know where it comes from at Alabama? Television contract. It comes from the SEC. You know where it comes from at Indiana? Big Ten contract. Where do you find that money if you're UConn? So it could be one of these deals where it might just be as obvious as Mannix said, like, hey, man, I can't turn this down. This is Southern California, $100 million. It's the Lakers. It's LeBron. I'm going. But it could also be one of those deals where Dan Hurley could go all the way to the finish line with the Lakers, sit back down with UConn, and just say, here's what they're offering.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Here's the truth. I don't want to go. So just make me not feel stupid for staying. Don't make me leave a lot of money and stuff on the table. Make me not feel stupid for passing on this opportunity, and I want to pass on this opportunity. And you know what they have to say then? Damn, we can't. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
The money is not there.
The more I think about it, the more I'm leaning towards he wants this Lakers job. Because, dude, the other thing about it, too, you see him everywhere. He's on all the podcasts. He's at UFC throwing up dude.
Well, the other big thing is
he likes the spotlight.
And you know what he doesn't like? The transfer portal. He doesn't like rebuilding his team every year. He's good at it, but he doesn't like it. It's not fun.
Yeah.
It is not an enjoyable experience. That's another part of this. Like, if you just read today that Taylor Jenkins had been in Hawaii for the past month, it would be like, okay, I guess, whatever. Doesn't matter. Why he might be in the workouts and whatever.
Yeah, I got it.
But most NBA coaches can take.
You can get a break.
You could take months off. Just like if Taylor Jenkins just decided, you know what, in July I'm going to Aruba. You know, I mean, I know we got summer league and all that stuff, but there is time to break away. In college basketball, there's just no time to break away.
If you take a week off, you probably just lost somebody to the transfer portal, probably missed somebody you wanted out of the transfer portal. So there's a lot of factors that are going to play a role in Dan Hurley's decision. But if he is after money, fame, and an easier life, a better quality of life, then it's easy. Then you go to the NBA for the same reasons all these other dudes do. And by the way, LeBron has never specifically talked about Dan Hurley as a Lakers candidate, and Dan Hurley has never specifically talked about maybe coaching the Lakers, but they have both talked about these things independent of this happening. LeBron James quote tweeted a clip of Dan Hurley just talking basketball and was like, he's amazing, right?
Yes.
That was before Dan was even officially known as a candidate for the Lakers job. And Dan Hurley has expressed a real desire to challenge himself at the highest level. He said, yes, I'm intrigued by the idea of coaching in the NBA. Keep in mind, this guy was a high school coach a decade ago.
Yeah, man.
This is happening pretty fast.
And if he was to win a title with the Lakers, how is he not the GOAT?
I mean, he's a brilliant basketball mind and a brilliant basketball coach. He would have to change his approach.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot
coach screaming Anthony Davis.
No.
Right.
And he knows that.
Yeah.
But I was talking to Matt Norlander about this earlier because Dan, I'm not telling secrets here. Dan struggles with mental health.
Mm-hmm.
He has real issues, like panic attacks and he struggles the way so many of us do. And he's worked hard on himself, and he has gotten better. But there were still moments when you're watching UConn play, and you're like, what is he doing? There was a moment in the national championship game where he, walks out on the court, and it's almost like he's trying to punk Zach Edey.
Yeah.
And it's like he almost gets in Zach Edey's face, and we all laugh about it because it's like, Dan, look at Dan, isn't he crazy? But, if you do that in the NBA,
no, it's not going to fly.
I mean, it's Stephen A. Smith, and then we'll be talking about it for an hour tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Who's this college coach think he is? You can't talk to NBA players like this. They make more money than you. That's a grown man with a wife and kids. You can't talk to him like that. You don't see people running around yelling at officials the way Dan Hurley yells at officials. Not in the NBA, you don't. So he would have to change his approach. And on one hand, I go, well, he's smart enough to know that, and he'll do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's smart enough to know that because he is, and therefore he'll do it. The whole leap to, and therefore he'll do it, that's a tough one because I just sort of recognize this in myself. I can't tell you how many times in my own life that I tell myself, no matter what happens, I'm not going to be upset about this. It's going to be frustrating, but I'm going to let it go. I ain't going to say nothing because I know I can't, because I know it doesn't do me any favors, and I know it doesn't actually help the situation. So it doesn't matter how frustrated I get by this thing. I'm just going to take it and be cool and be fine and let it roll off of me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how many times. There is still going to be a moment where I get into it and I can't. I can't just let it go. I'm so frustrated that I can't just let it go. So if I know that about myself, I know that that's something that exists in other people. And I'm not certain it exists in Dan, but I'm just saying it's not as easy. This is the point. It's not as easy as just saying, well, you have to change your whole demeanor and change your whole approach. And you say, well, of course, I know that. Okay, you know it, but can you do it?
Mm-hmm.
Can you actually do it? Can you actually not yell when you're frustrated? Can you actually not stomp your feet when you're mad? Can you actually not yell at a basketball player when you are upset at a basketball player, as opposed to talk to them like a colleague as opposed to a student athlete? It's easy to say, I know I have to do these things differently. It's harder to do them differently.
Mm-hmm.
Harder to do them differently. So that's another factor here. I don't know. I guess I'd circle back to where I was. When you're Dan Hurley coaching at Wagner, can you imagine if somebody tells you, hey, it's going to be June 2024, and these will be your options. Come back to UConn to try to win a third straight national championship. Hold up, I've already won two? Yeah, you've won two. First one since Billy Donovan to do that. So you can go back to UConn to try to win a third straight national championship with a preseason top 5 team and with a contract worth more money than you've ever made in your whole life. That's option one. Okay, that's amazing. What's option two? Go coach LeBron James and the Lakers for more money than you ever thought you would make in your whole life. What?
It's two good options.
Okay. So that's like, if somebody tells you that when you're the coach at Wagner,
Yeah.
what an amazing situation to be in. Woo. I bet you Dan Hurley is sick today. It's one of those situations where you're appreciative and thankful, but it's agonizing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I bet no matter what you do, you don't know if you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
If you stay, you will always wonder if you should have went. And if you go, you always wonder, did I pass up on a chance to win 3 straight national titles?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he can always come back
That's
and
right.
win a third.
That's right.
You know?
Right. Right. You can always come back. That's the thing.
Lakers may never be there again.
That's what it would, I think. I'm not projecting. I don't know what Dan Hurley will do. I don't think that what I think I would do is necessarily what he should do.
Yeah.
But what would be the determining factor for me, I think, would be, here's what I know. I will never again get the opportunity to coach LeBron James and the Lakers. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If I pass on this, it doesn't mean I'm passing on the NBA forever. It might not even mean I'm passing on the Lakers forever. But it does mean I'm passing on this very unique situation forever. I'm not giving up college basketball forever necessarily. I am giving up an opportunity to win 3 straight championships, and I'm leaving UConn. But this never ensures that I can't come back to college basketball or even back to UConn. And even if it is a disaster in the NBA, like I get Adrian Griffin, fired in year 1. That wouldn't happen, obviously.
Right.
But like even if it's that bad, if Dan Hurley got fired in year 1, he could come back next offseason and take the best college job available. So even if it goes poorly in Los Angeles, you still got a bright future in college basketball. If it goes well in Los Angeles, that's awesome. But if you stay at UConn, you pass on a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity probably. To me, I think that would be the determining factor. But I don't pretend to be arrogant enough to make these decisions for other people. It's complicated. His wife's going to play a role in it. We'll see if we get it wrapped up by the weekend. I'm not sure it'll be done today. And Woj's reporting suggests this is going to be something that unfolds over the coming days. So perhaps we should have something by the time we get back here on Monday, but maybe not by the time we get here on Friday. We'll see, though. Fascinating thing to wake up to.
Yeah.
Big-time headline, Lakers targeting Dan Hurley. When we come back, turn our attention to NBA draft, at least briefly. Sam Vecenie from The Athletic, he posted a new mock draft yesterday. I'll tell you who he's got the Grizzlies selected 9th. We'll do that next. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South.
Let's talk about MVPs.
Let's do it. I went with the Joker.
Oh my God, Nikola freaking Jokic.
Every time I watch him play, I am so impressed.
I'm obsessed with him.
Yeah.
Everything he does works. He can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound, he can drive, he can defend. Like, he can do everything.
He can lead the fast break, and he's like 7-1.
IMHO with Lang Whitaker and me, Kelsey Wright Johnson, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
If you look at it, as far as the number 9 pick over the years, there's been some pretty good players that have surfaced at number 9. Of course, Dirk Nowitzki, who won a championship. There's been a lot of great guys, but who knows if there is a great guy in this draft.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizz, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Gigi Jackson, I don't know if you know this, CJ, youngest player in the NBA, does not turn 20 until December of this year. He was the 45th pick in last year's draft. He becomes the first teenager, I believe, to be named to an all-rookie team without having been a first-round pick. Shout out Gigi Jackson.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt, live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Hey, Grizzlies Grizzlies fans, turn your stadium excitement into betting action at Southland Casino Hotel. As a proud sponsor of the Memphis Grizzlies, Southland brings you more gaming action than ever before. Step onto our massive casino floor stretching more than 2.5 football fields. Slot enthusiasts can enjoy more than 2,300 machines from penny slots to high limits and play the hottest games like Aristocrat, Dollar Storm, Cloverlink, and Lightning Cash. Table game aficionados can feel the thrill of the felt with 50 live table games. From 3-card to blackjack match, we're ready to deal you in. Plus, don't miss stadium gaming for an interactive digital experience. And for high rollers, our high limit room is calling your name. Go big on 6 high limit blackjack tables or spin one of our 54 high stakes slot machines. Throw in 8 delicious dining options and a 300-room high-rise hotel, and there's plenty to keep you going. At Southland Casino Hotel, the gaming excitement never stops.
Must be 21 plus. Play responsibly. For help quitting, call 800-522-4700.
LifeCare Ambulance is proud to be an official partner of the Memphis Grizzlies and FedEx Forum. At LifeCare, they wear their hearts with pride. Their passion is their people. They want you to love what you do and where you do it. Their employee-driven culture encourages a healthy work-life balance and supportive work environment. They invest in your success and well-being so that you can provide the best care for the patients that they serve. Join the incredible team of EMTs and paramedics in Memphis, Nashville, and across the nation today. Learn more at lifecareamb.com.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either, and that's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more at orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Sam Vecenie from The Athletic has posted a new mock draft over at theathletic.com, also under the umbrella of nytimes.com. He has Zachary Ricochet going number 1 to the Atlanta Hawks. Alex Sarr, another actually, Sam Vecenie has Alex Sarr going 1, Zachary Ricochet going 2. Basically everybody, or at least most people, have those 2 going 1, 2 in some order right now. Vecenie has it Sarr, Ricochet. Gavoni now has it Ricochet, Sarr. So, we'll see. All the way down at number 9.
What's up?
Memphis Grizzlies.
Yep.
Can I interest you in a Rob Dillingham? Because that's who Sam Vecenie has the Grizzlies selecting with the 9th pick.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I really know. I always like the you've brought this up a lot over the years. I do think that there is something to that. The guy that was the best player in his high school class.
Mm-hmm.
I think that there's something to that has legs, but I didn't watch a lot. Well, he was overtime elite, right?
No, Dillingham, he just played this 1 year at Kentucky.
Oh, at Kentucky. I was thinking of
he's the you're thinking of Ron Holland.
I'm thinking of Ryan Holland.
You're
Ron Holland, yeah.
Rob Dillingham is the 6'1" guard at Kentucky. Incredible offensive player, shot creator, shot maker. There's some real thought that he'll be able to, you give him a ball screen, he can separate from his guy. He's going to be able to get you buckets, right?
Mm-hmm.
The issues with him is he's 6'1". He's little. And I don't mean just short, but like little. He's, thin. And he doesn't guard, which was among the reasons he struggled to stay on the court as much as somebody of his talent should at Kentucky this past season. Now, let me be clear. I thought it was a mistake and still do for John Calipari just not to commit to Rob Dillingham and say this guy's going to be in my starting lineup and we're going to deal with his shortcomings because what he brings offensively is so elite that we don't want to have that sitting on our bench. But the reason he was sitting on their bench quite a bit and not starting is because of some defensive liabilities that he brings to the table. So I don't particularly like the fit with the Grizzlies, but I also don't really think fit should matter that much when you have a top 10 pick. I think you should be trying to get best prospect available. And there is a scenario, not a ridiculous one, where you could reasonably say that on the night of the draft, once the 9th pick is in play, that Rob Dillingham is the best prospect available. I don't think he will be, in my opinion at least. But, I'm not ruling that out, and I'm not calling it crazy if somebody else thinks that. What's interesting is Vicini, in sort of arguing in favor of Dillingham with the Grizzlies, largely makes the point that, because some people would say, hold up, he's a little guard who doesn't really guard his position too well, can't play with John Morant, so what are we doing? Well, Vicini's whole argument is like, yeah, probably can't play with John Morant, but like John Morant can't play every game and doesn't. In fact, misses lots of games regularly. Not just last season, but that's been his career so far.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you are just locked in, John Morant's our starting point guard, and therefore we don't need to spend a lottery pick on a point guard, well, then you are just casually forgetting that John Morant is unavailable quite often, for various reasons.
Right.
So Sam's argument is you need somebody who plays that position. Whether you think you've got your franchise point guard or not, here's the truth. Your franchise point guard, and he didn't say it like this, he didn't mean it the way it's going to sound, and I don't mean it the way it's going to sound, but this is what he's implying. Your franchise point guard is unreliable.
Mm.
So, you're not doubling up here. Just, you think John Morant's playing 75 games next year?
It hasn't been the trend. Right.
So he's like, you don't worry about duplicating a John Morant. And I should be clear, Rob Dillingham is not John Morant. But you shouldn't say, I don't want a little guard who can't play with John Morant because we have John Morant, because there's going to be a time coming up where you just don't have John Morant. So why is that even a part of the equation? I understand that.
I understand that too. It's one of those things where I just always have in my mind, and maybe it's the wrong way of thinking, you want that. It's what they did when they went and got D-Rose. Like you want that, and Marcus Smart too, to an extent. Like you want that veteran presence as a backup point guard. I feel like for some reason, but at this point, Ja's. He's been in the league a minute now, so you don't. It's not like
I don't think you need a veteran point guard for John Morant,
right?
But you will need. To Sam's point, we'll keep it. To Sam's point, not only do you need a backup point guard for John Morant in some form, you are probably going to need somebody to play because John Morant is in street clothes.
Miss some games, yeah.
At some point he's going to be in street clothes again, and you're going to, And this is a guy who some people had projected as like a top 2 or 3 pick before he measured 6'1", and the offensive stuff is undeniable. He's a really gifted, talented guy. I don't think on the night of the draft when the Grizzlies are on the clock, even if Dillingham is available, I don't think I'll be at a place where I'll say Rob Dillingham should be the pick here, but I don't think it's crazy.
Interesting. I don't love it.
I don't love it either.
I don't love
but
it.
I don't think it's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's crazy.
He is a good shooter.
I could grow to love it.
Yeah.
I could grow to love it, but a few weeks out of the draft, there are different prospects I'd prefer.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Geno Auriemma, you know him.
Yeah.
Long time, Hall of Fame.
Another UConn coach.
Women's basketball coach at UConn. The GOAT of women's coaching. I think most people would agree with that.
I think that's fair.
Dawn Staley could take that crown someday. Pat Summitt might have had it once upon a time. But as we sit here in this moment, I think Geno Auriemma is probably considered the GOAT of women's basketball coaching. So before we go any further, because I don't want to get myself in any trouble speaking out of turn.
You need to be careful.
Speaking out of turn. I don't want to get myself in any trouble. Do we think Geno Auriemma is a good enough – does he know enough about women's basketball to speak on it? Because sometimes people like you and I, we get told we don't know enough about women's basketball to speak on it.
I know everything.
But does Geno Auriemma know enough about women's basketball to speak on it?
I think he does.
You would think so, right?
I think he does.
He's been around it a long time, right?
Yes.
Let me tell you what he said. He was asked about Caitlin Clark. He said this.
Oh, boy. Buckle up.
Is she facing the rookie challenge, the rookie hardships that are inherent with being a rookie? Yeah, sure. But she's also being targeted. That comes from Geno Auriemma. He went on to say that, quote, I don't remember when Michael Jordan came into the NBA, guys looking to go out and beat him up. I don't remember when Larry Bird and Magic came into the league and elevated the NBA, them getting targeted and getting beat up just because of who they were and the attention they were getting. Appreciate the fact that now's the time for the WNBA. I get it. It's long overdue. But why are you being other WNBA players, blaming that kid being Caitlin Clark? It's not her fault because you would trade places with her in a minute, but you are not there. You're not her, so you're bitching that she's getting what she's getting. That's from Geno Auriemma. Do we trust he knows enough about women's basketball to speak on it? Or is he just a out of touch man too?
I don't know, man. He's getting up there in age. Maybe he's getting out of touch.
Could be getting out of touch.
He could be getting out of touch.
Could be getting out of touch.
I think it's a fair point he makes.
You'll never move me off this. Not all of these women in the WNBA are jealous of Caitlin Clark, but some of them are. And the ones who are taking cheap shots at her are, and the ones who are enjoying the cheap shots are. All right? She is being targeted. It's just been amazing. I've seen so many people say things this week like, well, this is hard to talk about. I don't really think it is. I actually get not offended, that's the wrong word, but like I roll my eyes when people say things like, you need a woman's perspective to talk about the WNBA. Why? That's an honest question. Do you have an answer for that?
No.
Why do you need a woman's perspective? I can appreciate a woman's perspective on the WNBA, but why? Because I've seen this week. Women tweet, these men out there talking about the WNBA, you could use a woman's perspective. What would happen if I tweeted that same thing? If I heard women talking about the NBA and I tweeted, my God, these women on TV talking about the NBA, they really need a man's perspective. You know what would happen to me?
Canceled.
I would have to apologize.
You would?
And I would need to apologize. You know why? Because I would have said something ridiculous. I have never once heard, let's just keep it in-house, Jessica Benson talking about the NBA or the NFL and thought that she needed a man's perspective. Never once thought that. College football, never once thought that. But you hear women this week talking about you need a woman's perspective to discuss women's basketball. Why? It's just basketball. Am I capable of discussing basketball? I get paid to do it. It's my job, all right? And it's just people. Different gender, I guess, but it's just people. It's just people playing basketball and people doing things under the umbrella of basketball. I don't know why you need all this context that people think you need. But just in case you do, does Geno Auriemma have enough context?
I think he does.
He's been working.
He is a man.
However long some of you been watching the WNBA, I've been there from the jump. You ain't been around women's basketball longer than Geno Auriemma. You ain't been in that world as deeply as Geno Auriemma has been in. And you know what he says? Watching what he's watching. Not only is it clear to him that Caitlin Clark is being targeted, and not only is it clear to him that Caitlin Clark has created jealousy within that league, it's so clear to him that he doesn't even remember ever seeing anything like it in basketball, men's or women's, ever. Not when Michael entered the league, not when Magic and Larry entered the league, but we are seeing this different thing with Caitlin Clark. So you don't have to take it from me. Take it from Geno Auriemma. Or don't. I don't care.
Number 3.
Kendrick Lamar has announced.
What's he doing?
Oh, it's a show at the Forum in Inglewood, California. June 19th. That's Juneteenth.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Pop Out Ken and Friends show at the Kia Forum. Pop Out Ken is a great nickname.
You got to.
Because in the Not Like Us song, it's like sometimes you got to pop out and show. I got to stop there. But sometimes you got to pop out and show somebody. Sometimes you got to pop out and show somebody. Like, sometimes you got to pop out. So now he's Pop Out Ken.
Pop out what?
Sometimes you just got to pop out and show. I can't say it. What do you
Penis?
No, Bennett, not penis.
Oh.
Sometimes you just got to okay, you're just, hey, I'm private. I ain't on Instagram. I ain't on social media.
Yeah.
I ain't on tour. I ain't doing interviews. I ain't on The Breakfast Club. I ain't on Joe Rogan. I ain't in studio with Howard Stern. But sometimes you got to pop out and show somebody. I can't say it.
Okay, I'm picking up. I'm picking up. I needed a bit of context. Okay. I didn't understand.
He had to pop out and show Drake.
Gotcha.
Drake was getting a little too comfortable. That colonizer Drake, that terrible person, that terrible father Drake.
Understood.
Raised by Dennis Graham.
Understood.
Sometimes you got to pop out and show. So he had to pop out and show, and now he calls himself Pop Out Ken, which is my favorite nickname. Pop Out Ken. Pop Out Ken coming to the Inglewood Forum. What's that going to be like? Tickets went on sale today.
Oh, in Inglewood, dude, it's going to be wild.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll sell out.
Well, of course it'll sell out. The question will become what goes on that night? Who are the friends? Does Metro show up? Does Future show up? Does Ross show up?
I love Metro.
I love all of it.
I love Metro because you know what? He's on that Spider-Man soundtrack, and the kids love the end of the or he's across the Spider-Verse. We love it.
I can't get enough of all of it.
Yeah.
And do you just come out and play all your Drake diss tracks just in a special encore? Just come out and just.
This is gonna be an F Drake show, isn't it?
You just do like that, and then you go straight into Euphoria, and then straight into 616, and then straight into Meet the Grands, and you close the whole thing out with Not Like Us, and the whole building bounce into Not Like Us. It's gonna be a scene, Bennett.
It sounds like it.
That's going to be a scene. And isn't it wild? You realize Night Like Us came out a month ago.
Okay.
And Like That came out a million years ago, it feels like at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nobody seen Kendrick Lamar. Ain't nobody heard from Kendrick Lamar. It's not like I see Jennifer Lopez every day. Every day I see Jennifer Lopez. I see Jennifer Lopez more than I see my oldest son. Every day I know what Jennifer Lopez is up to. Exactly what she's wearing.
She's got the #1 movie on Netflix.
I know whether she's got her wedding ring on or not. I know where her kids get dropped off at school. I know what her mansion looks like. I mean, I can't go a day without seeing Jennifer Lopez. Ain't nobody seen Kendrick Lamar. No public sightings.
That's pretty impressive.
He just sometimes you got to pop out.
Okay.
Pop out Ken. Then
I like it.
Then he pops back in, but then you got to pop out. You ever pop out?
No.
I don't either.
No.
I don't
I
either.
wouldn't.
I don't even think I could pop out.
People would laugh at me.
Yeah, if I tried to pop out and show somebody something, I don't feel like.
No.
I never felt
Every
like.
time I try to do anything cool, I get shot down.
I don't feel like it's my place to pop out, and show anybody anything.
Right.
I don't feel like I'm equipped to do it. I don't know what I could show anybody.
Yeah, I don't.
Sometimes you got to pop out and show a colonizer and expose a master manipulator.
Yeah.
For what he is.
I wish I could, but
I can't. I wish I could pop out and show people stuff.
No, I'd try, but
I mean, I don't think I ever could. I'd like to think that when I was younger, I could pop out and show somebody.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could. I don't think I've ever been able to pop out.
I'm going to try to show something this summer.
Well, you think so?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm going to try to show something.
All right. Well, man, that's going to be a rough Wednesday for Drake, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
and by the way, it's an all-day party. It starts at like 4 in the afternoon. This thing's going to be a deal.
Yeah.
It's not going to be
stay off the internet that
Drake's
day.
going to need to stay off the internet that day.
Yeah, he should stay off.
He stay off the internet. He's a colonizer, that Drake. Terrible person.
That's what they say.
He's a terrible person.
I don't know.
He don't know nothing about raising a kid. That's what Kendrick said.
Ouch.
I know, man. It's tough. Anyway, tickets are on sale. Get them if you can.
Number 4.
Did you see Dodgers and Pirates last night? This was something.
No.
This is one of those moments in baseball that transcends baseball. Like even if you're not following baseball, you probably saw it, but you just told me you didn't, so it screwed that up. Anyway, Paul Skenes, #1 pick, 2023 MLB draft, got called up less than a month ago by the Pirates and has been straight deal. He's Libby Dunn's boyfriend.
He's awesome, man.
He's popped out.
He's a stud.
He has popped out, shown some people some stuff. All right? So he's been amazing. How about this? He's been in the big leagues less than a month. Jeff Passan the other day on ESPN said, talking to baseball people, like if you needed to win a game tonight, Game 7 tonight, you might take Paul Skenes. He's been in the big leagues for less than a month. It'd be like if somebody said, if you had to win Game 7 in the NBA Finals tonight, give me Victor Wembanyama. What? He just got here. Maybe someday, soon, but not yet. But we're already there with Paul Skenes.
Well, that's good. At least we know the Pirates will get a handful of wins every year.
A handful of wins.
Yeah.
So on the other side, Dodgers, you know who they got? The biggest star in the world, Shohei Ohtani. So we get our first Paul Skenes Shohei Ohtani meeting last night. Watch what happened. That's strike 1. That's strike 2. And that is strike 3. 3 pitches, all at least 100 miles per hour. Sarah Langs, a longtime baseball writer, tweeted last night that, pitch tracking goes back to 2008. So that's 16 seasons of baseball that we have.
Okay.
And what you just watched is quite literally the first time that has ever happened. That being a pitcher strikes a hitter out, 1, 2, 3, 3-pitch strikeout, all 3 pitches in excess of 100 miles per hour. That had never happened before until Paul Skenes did it to Shohei Ohtani last night.
Surprised Shohei swung at all of them.
He thought he was going to catch one of them.
Yeah.
So then he comes back up, Shohei Ohtani, and they work it to a 3-2 count. Couldn't just get him on 3 pitches this time. So it's a 3-2 count. Shohei Ohtani against Paul Skenes. He tries to get one of them 100-mile-an-hour fastballs by him again.
Yeah.
Watch what happened this time.
Uh-oh.
Ohtani tees off, straight away center field. This ball's gone.
He's serious.
Power supplies power.
But like, look at that crowd in Pittsburgh, right? That's a day game on a Wednesday.
On the board against Paul Skenes.
That's crazy.
All right, giddy up.
But you get Skenes against Ohtani. Who wouldn't show up for that? So that's a big moment in baseball.
That's cool.
That's a big moment in baseball. Skenes is a real phenom, living up to expectations. Of course, Ohtani got in there, but it reminded me a little bit. You get this moment, like here's this young guy, and here's the best of the best, and he just mows him down. Boom, boom, boom. Go watch when you get a chance. Go Google Doc Gooden's first All-Star game appearance.
Mm-hmm.
He enters the game, rookie pitcher for the Mets. I think at 19 years old, youngest pitcher to ever appear in an All-Star game, and he struck out the side. Boom, 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 and walks to the dugout and it's like, whoa, buddy, what did we just watch? What is this? That's what Skenes looked like in the first inning.
Mm-hmm.
Just mowing down Ohtani like that. This dude was pitching at LSU a year ago, like less than a year ago.
Right.
He was pitching at LSU less than a year ago, and now he's just mowing down Shohei. So just a big moment for that franchise, for Skenes. He's tremendous. Shohei got him the second time up. Just I love those types of things in baseball.
I do.
The presumably future all-time great pitcher against the undeniably all-time great hitter. Let's get up there and let's go power against power. Skenes got him in round 1. Ohtani got him in round 2. Fun night of baseball.
Number 5.
You know who didn't have a fun night?
Who?
Mexican woman.
Oh, I didn't watch the video.
Oh, you should.
What
I mean, you shouldn't. I never know what to do with stuff like this because I don't mind seeing stuff like this. So then sometimes I'm just like, hey, look at this.
Man, come on. I used to watch Faces of Death when I was a kid.
I did too.
Yeah.
I mean, I just watched a rapper blow his brains out the other day.
Doesn't faze me.
I watched a rapper blow his brains out on Twitter the other day. Did you see that one?
No.
It was a rapper.
Uh-huh.
Not one of your famous ones, but, you know, he rapped.
Got it.
Okay. And he had a gun, and he was like, you know, making a video with, you know.
Oh, so this is accidental. This was an accidental shot.
He was just like, you know.
He
was acting like he was ready to pop out.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, something, and he just.
Yeah, you can't. You got to be careful.
Like, I'm telling you, I watched this guy blow his brains out on Twitter, all right? And I was like, I was on the golf course. So I was like, I think his name's Huncho. I think it was Huncho was his name. Something Huncho.
Okay.
So I was like, man, did you guys see Huncho? And they're like, what? And I just show it to my golfing buddies. And they were like this. They were like, oh, you know, because they weren't prepared to see a man blow his own brains out on Twitter. So I never know what to do about this type of stuff because I don't mind seeing it. But then other people, you know, you might not like to see a woman.
I'm watching it right now.
Okay, watch it. Watch this woman. She was real excited about this selfie. And then the train came.
Oh, I see. Okay, I see what happened here.
Yeah.
It's not as like it's bad, but it's not as bad as I was anticipating. It was more like she was clipped by the train.
She got clipped.
Yeah, which the train going that fast, like
She got the life clipped out of her. She dead.
Yikes, man.
Yeah. Can you imagine? You're just trying to take a selfie and now you're dead. Do you realize this happens not all the time, but like it's not that unusual?
That's why I don't take selfies.
That's why I don't take selfies either.
Because you could die.
You could die.
Mm-hmm.
You could die. I'm not trying to die taking a selfie. What a stupid way to die.
No.
What did you make of what's going on here? Why were all these people hanging out by the train tracks?
I don't know. What
that?
are they trying to get? Why are they getting pictures and stuff? I
was that? It's like, is that the most famous train in the world coming by?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Why is everybody hanging? I see train tracks all the time. People just look like they're having a tailgate around the train tracks.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm sure trains come through there all the time. Like what? I don't know what was going on there. Why they wanted to. Why that mattered so much.
I don't know what was happening, but this woman, just to set the scene for you, she's doing the thing where you take a selfie. She's trying to get the perfect shot with that train coming, and she got a little, too close to the train tracks, and bam, she got hit.
Oh, it's a vintage train, yeah, I believe.
Man, can you imagine?
It was a vintage steam train, so it was vintage. So.
A little wider than they must have realized.
Yeah,
a little wider than they must have realized. So she got popped. How many people you think die a year taking selfies? I'll tell you, I don't have a great number on it. I can't find a definitive number, but I've seen some studies, and the studies, they put it around this number. How many people you think a year?
100.
50-ish? 50 to 100,
50
somewhere in there.
something. Okay.
50 to 100 in there. And you know what it normally is? People falling off cliffs or mountains.
Yeah,
stuff
you
like
go
that.
to the edge, you slip. Yeah, I got it.
Can you think of a dumber way to die?
No.
Like you were just, what did you even need this selfie for? To post it on Instagram so people would be like, "Oh, you look so great on that cliff." What were we even doing?
Mm-hmm.
What were you hoping to gain out of this experience? A few likes? What? Now you're dead. Trying to take a selfie. I think dying trying to take a selfie is a pretty wild way to die.
Yeah, dude. I wouldn't want to go that way.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's about as bad as it gets. I'm trying to think of like ways.
Well, my huncho, he was just trying to he was trying to do a video. He's probably talking to the ops or something. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And he just shot him. Boom. It happened quick too, man. He didn't have a safety on.
No, clearly not.
Should have had a safety on, right?
Yeah, should have had a safety.
I think that's one thing I talk to my kids about. If you're ever going to make a video taunting your ops with a gun, make sure the safety's on.
Or just don't do that at all.
Or don't do that at all.
Yeah.
But sometimes you have to taunt the ops.
Apparently.
I mean, Bennett, you might be too removed from it.
I am.
But sometimes you have to taunt the ops.
Yeah, I'm a little too removed from that.
But when you're going to do it,
different life.
if you're going to make a video to taunt the ops,
Mm-hmm.
you got to turn the safety on.
Got to turn the safety on.
Otherwise, you could end up like Huncho.
Damn, dude.
It's tough.
That's embarrassing, dude. I mean, it is. Like,
It
I'm
is
sorry.
embarrassing.
It's really
It's
embarrassing.
like it's sad. Can we say it's sad?
Sure, but it's
sure,
super
but it's
embarrassing.
More than that, it's
Yeah.
embarrassing.
Like this, what happened to this lady is sad because, yes, it's a dumb way to die, but like it's a vintage steam train that's coming through. You want to get like a cool picture, and you stood too.
I still think it's dumb.
and you
I still
stood
think
too
that's
close
dumb.
to it. Waving your gun around in a music video and
Okay.
blowing your head off. That's dumb.
Okay, so let me get you on the record here, and then we'll move on. If you had to die, one way or the other, you'd rather get hit by a vintage steam train while taking a selfie than blow your own brains out while taunting the ops on video.
Yes.
I think so, too.
Yes.
I think we're in agreement on this one. Be back with GP's carryout.
Mike did his favorite black films of all time. Mike, where we at?
If there's one movie I know every single line to, it is Coming to America.
There we go.
It is Coming to America. It can come on any time of any day, and I'm going to stop and watch at least 20 minutes of it.
Get all of your HBCU sports and culture news by tuning in to HBCU Huddle with CJ Hurt and Mike Wallace. New episodes drop every Thursday on grindcitymedia.com, YouTube, and Spotify.
I think we have the college basketball title futures. UConn's #1.
I really like Houston. I'd have them winning it all, but you can't be giving Drake jerseys. What is wrong with you?
Maybe the Drake curse is stronger in college basketball.
How long has he been riding with Kentucky?
He wore an Alabama jersey and Saban retired.
The Odds Couple with Rob Fisher, Lang Whitaker, John Roser, and CJ Hurt live Thursdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
When it's all on the line, you turn to the strong, the stable, the unwavering. To those with a history of raising their performance, to meet the moment. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle. Play hard, bank easy.
Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by August 31st, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball, but the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board, a class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Welcome back. Gary Parrish Show presented by Ortho South. Let's wrap it up with GP's Carryout.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we learn today?
A whole bunch of stuff, but can I hit you with some breaking news out of Kansas City?
What's up?
The Chiefs have had to cancel practice today.
Why?
A backup defensive lineman, unidentified as of this moment. Cardiac arrest at practice.
Did he die?
Stable condition. Doing better than Huncho.
Good.
Stable condition, but still, that's scary. Football player.
Yeah.
Cardiac arrest. Hope it's okay.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
We'll just leave it at that. I don't know what else to say about it.
I'm sure the comments underneath it are great.
Yeah.
I already know what they say.
Every time somebody has a card, it's like,
did he get the jab?
It's like it's like nobody had heart attacks before COVID.
I know. I know.
like you people realize we had heart attacks before
right.
COVID.
Yeah, they're pretty prominent. Yeah.
Right? Like people died of heart attacks before COVID.
I know.
But now every time somebody has a heart attack, these goofies. Did he get the jab? I bet he got the jab.
Good Lord. Calm down.
I bet he got the jab. It's so like people are hilarious. I can't even get on Facebook without watching people compare Donald Trump to Jesus Christ.
Oh.
And I don't mean like in words. I mean they create images.
I've seen the images.
It's like Jesus Christ and Donald Trump.
I've seen the images of Jesus standing over Donald in the Oval Office.
Can I speak candidly for a moment?
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you who to vote for. But I am comfortable telling you this. If you post a meme on Facebook of Donald Trump and Jesus Christ, you are a maniac. All right? Trust me when I tell you, even the people who you think like you think you're weird.
Correct.
All right? It's one thing to just like go in the voting booth and do whatever you got to do.
For sure.
It's another thing
to compare the president to Jesus
on Facebook.
Yes.
You are a special kind of weirdo. I struggle with it because I go through and I go, if you are so weird that you are spending your post about Donald Trump and Jesus Christ and comparing the two, I got to unfriend you because you are bananas. On the other hand, it is so funny to me. I don't want to unfriend him because I don't want to not see it.
Right. No, I love it.
Because it's so funny to me.
Yep.
But it is so ridiculous and so stupid.
Oh, I love those. I love the ones, too, that people create of him, like, super buff, like, holding, like, the machine guns and stuff.
Man, you have no idea how stupid we're all going to look when they look back on us 100 years from now.
Yeah, if we're here.
There's going to be a documentary, and they're going to be like, and it even reached the point where Americans were creating images of Donald Trump and Jesus Christ. And people would be like, yeah, that was crazy. You guys are crazy, man.
That was crazy.
You guys are wild.
I'll look at them.
They put Jesus Christ on a cross. And now they're doing it to President Trump.
Yep.
You maniacs.
Damn.
I did unfriend a lot of them. Because I'm just like, I don't even want to associate with people who are that weird. I don't like I know I'm friends with people who will vote for Donald Trump. Whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, me too.
Yeah, whatever. I'm not here like the other candidate is not a great candidate. I understand. I'm not saying I understand it, but like I'm not here to pick those fights. I have friends. I will spend the weekend this weekend with people I know will vote for Donald Trump.
Sure.
That's not my thing. My thing is if you are really taking the time to post about Jesus Christ and Donald Trump on Facebook, you're bananas. That's my thing.
Yes. Can't argue with that.
Anyway, a Kansas City Chiefs backup defensive
Yeah,
lineman had a
that's
heart
fair.
attack. You know, he probably got the shot. That's what they said
That's
on
what they
Facebook.
said on
I mean, that's what I
Facebook.
saw right underneath.
Yep.
It was right underneath the Donald Trump Jesus Christ post. They were like, I bet you Taylor Swift's boyfriend's teammate got the shot. That was the next post, right underneath Jesus and Donald Trump. They're always together.
What's today's biggest game?
Game 1 of the NBA Finals.
I think that's the
Fool.
one. I think that's the one.
Mavericks and Celtics. We're going to do it at TD Garden.
Okay.
7:30 tip. ABC. It's not America's most watched network, but it is one of our networks. Boston's a 6.5-point favorite. The total's 215.5. How you want to act?
Okay, so Dallas.
You got you a win last night.
I got a win.
Aces came through for you.
Dallas isn't very good in these game ones. I think I'll take Dallas because it's 6.5. I think I'll take Dallas.
Give me the points.
Yeah, give me the points. I think Dallas can cover the 6.5.
You can't root for a close game unless you got those 6.5 points. Otherwise, you're rooting for a blowout with the Celtics.
Right.
I want a close game. I want to spend my Thursday
Yeah, I'm
night.
trying to have fun.
I'm trying to have fun tonight.
Feels like a sucker play, but that's okay.
That's okay.
I'm trying to have a good time.
We lose anyway.
Yeah.
You know what? Is that like we
Yeah,
can't pick these things right anyway. So
Right.
let's just pick what we want and hope for the best.
Yeah.
All right?
Yeah, we'll go Mavs.
Your record's 119, 123, and 4, negative 17.2. Tonight, Mavericks plus 6.5. That's the play.
What are we watching on TV?
I really think it's just got to be game 1 of the NBA Finals. I mean, you get the build up to it. At some point tonight, Kyrie's going to walk into that building for the first time. He's going to walk onto that court in the presence of fans for the first time as a member of the Mavericks in the NBA Finals against the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Franchise he once swore he was going to sign a long-term contract with. He went back on his word.
No.
He went back on his word.
I'm pumped about this.
He gave a city his word, and then he went back on his word. What do you think Huncho would think of that if he were still with us?
Probably not feel good about it.
No.
He wouldn't have liked that.
No.
Okay.
So Chris Mannix said tonight it's going to be a scene. It's going to be a charged environment.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you want to watch that? The game's the game. But I like the scene. I'm
I
going
like
to watch
the
the
scene,
game,
too.
but I want to see the scene. So the scene's probably going to, be in that pregame. All the Kyrie stuff you can get. I can't wait. That's what I'm watching tonight.
What's the best thing we've read?
So at CBSSports.com right now, Brad Botkin's got a look at a bunch of interesting numbers connected to these NBA Finals and a statistical breakdown of the Mavericks and Celtics. So you can find that at CBSSports.com. I did see a clip last night I thought was good. Like, we all laugh about, like, J.J. Redick and LeBron James, but they are actually, like, it is interesting watching them talk about basketball.
Yeah,
Like,
I agree.
Like, I don't think I can do an hour of it, but these little clips that I see come into my world, when I click on them, I'm usually like, okay, that was good.
Mm-hmm.
So J.J. Redick, tell me if you saw this. He's talking to LeBron, and it almost like he hit him with a trivia time. He said, what's the, statistically, by the numbers, what's the best way to guard Luka Doncic pick and rolls? According to J.J. Redick's numbers, nobody is using ball screens in the NBA as much as Luka Doncic.
Okay.
All right? And it is usually going to be often it's going to be a 1-5 ball screen or a little to big ball screen. It's not going to be a lot of little stuff. So JJ was like, all right, LeBron, just by the numbers, what do you think's the best way to guard a Luka Doncic pick and roll? I'll give you the 3 most obvious options. One is you just switch it, just switch it. The other is you blitz it. And the other is you just go into drop coverage. What do you think the most effective way to guarding this? He asked LeBron this, and LeBron, I would encourage anybody, because you can see LeBron's mind working. He does process of elimination. Like, okay, I don't want to think about what's the best. Let me just tell you the way I know we can't do it, and then he works his way through it.
I'm going to say not blitz, just because we've seen, dude, when there was the famous play in the last series when he, dribbled to wait on the defender to get to him. I'll say drop.
Okay. Drop is in the middle.
Okay.
The most effective way to guard a Luka Doncic pick and roll, according to the numbers, is actually to blitz it.
Okay. Interesting.
And LeBron, here's the way LeBron said. He said, well, I know you can't switch it. He said, you switch it, you get killed.
Mm-hmm.
All right? That, you know who tried to switch it? Minnesota.
Yeah.
With Rudy Gobert.
That's right.
Remember how that went?
Brutal.
Right. So
Yeah.
he said you can't switch it. All right. So that's where he stopped there. And he said, let me just eliminate this one. I know you can't switch it. And JJ said the least effective way to guard a Luka Doncic ball screen, according to the numbers, is to switch it. That's the worst thing you can do. All right? The next worst thing you can do is drop, because he's so big. And he can really put pressure on it, and he can get in there deep, and it's just, he's a big boy.
Yeah,
and LeBron's just like, that doesn't work either. And if you try to step up on him, then it's just a lob to Lively or a lob over here.
Sure.
So it's like that's not, I'd rather do that than switch, but I don't want to do that either.
Got it.
JJ Redick said you're right. That's the second worst way. What's the best way? Blitz it. None of these are good. But when you can blitz it, then as LeBron explains it, he says then you're forcing Luka to get the ball to the 5 on a short roll, and then you're making that 5-man make a play. Now, he can make a play, right? Because he's going to have options to make a play. You're basically playing 4-on-3 at that point, if you want to. But you're making that person make a play instead of allowing Luka Doncic to make a play. So let's just let that person make a play and see if they can do it. And we might, there's no perfect way to do this, but I just thought it was interesting. By the numbers, what Minnesota tried to do at the end of that game, that famous game where Luka bombed Rudy Gobert, what they tried to do there was quite literally the worst way you could guard that.
Interesting.
The worst way you could guard. There were some people who didn't even know why Rudy Gobert is on the floor at that point. Because if you're going to switch it, you can't switch him onto that because you're going to get cooked. So if you're going to switch it, the person you don't want switching it is him. You got to get him off the court.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out tonight. But if you want to, I think, get a glimpse into among the reasons these NBA franchises are interested in JJ Redick, even if he doesn't get one of these jobs, it's that type of stuff. He's clearly, he doesn't just talk about this stuff. He thinks about this stuff, and he knows this stuff, and he's an impressive guy. And so that'll be one of the things to pay attention to in tonight's game 1 of the finals. Exactly how do they try to, the Celtics, deal with these Luka Doncic pick and rolls. But if you want to see a statistical breakdown of the Mavericks and Celtics, I told you Brad Botkin's got that for you. Right now you can find it at cbssports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow is Friday.
Yep.
Jessica Benson
She's
be in
be
studio
here.
with me. The great Kyra, she's flying home. She gets a Friday off.
Have a good trip, Kyra.
That's right. Enjoy your trip home, seeing your beautiful niece in Philadelphia. We'll try to hold it down without her, but it should be a fun day tomorrow. Be looking back at game 1 of the NBA Finals and getting ready for a big weekend. I can't wait. Can you wait?
I can't wait.
I can't wait. Rest in peace to Huncho.
Yeah.
Rest
and the lady that got hit by the train.
And the woman that got hit by the train. Tough situation for both of them.
Correct.
Be careful taking selfies. Be careful taunting the ops. I understand sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but one of the things I tell my kids, if you're going to make a video taunting the ops with a gun, put the safety on.
Fair enough.
It's a conversation all parents should have with their kids.
Yeah.
Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to enjoy mine. Meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.